There's a lot of cultural focus on people like transitioning into their villain era these days, but what about the hero era and the turn from villain to hero? We actually have an example of that in politics, maybe. Probably not, stay tuned. Lev Parnas is back in the news though, I can tell you that. You remember him from the Rudy Giuliani, Ukraine blackmail thing? No, he's popped back up and he's apparently switched sides. He is now claiming that he has direct experience that proves that the claims being made against Joe Biden and Hunter Biden have nothing to them. We're gonna give you a little bit of information on that. But if you weren't following this a couple years ago, Lev Parnas is a former associate of Rudy Giuliani who was central to Trump's scheme to find dirt on the Bidens in Ukraine. He just sent top House Republicans a letter earlier this week saying he was willing to testify that their probe into corruption allegations regarding President Joe Biden and his family has no merit. So he is willing to testify. Ooh, stay tuned to find out if they're gonna let him. We're gonna let you know at the end of this story. For now though, here's what he has to say. Giuliani tasked me with traveling to Ukraine throughout March, April, and May of 2019 to interview different people who had promised to give us information and evidence, including records of bribes, bank records, incriminating tapes. Yet every time I went on these trips and conducted these interviews, I came up with nothing. It was a fishing expedition, and they had reason to believe there were fish, and yet no fish. He says throughout all of these months of work, the extensive campaigns and networking done by Trump allies and Giuliani associates, including the enormously thorough interviews and assignments that I undertook, there has never been any evidence that Hunter or Joe Biden committed any crimes related to Ukrainian politics. Never during any of my communications with Ukrainian officials or connections to Burisma did any of them confirm or provide concrete facts linking the Bidens to illegal activities. Now, so why then was it such a big story for a long time? Well, Lev Parnas says, in fact, they asked me multiple times why our team was so concerned with this idea. The truth is that everyone from Giuliani and the BLT team to Devin Nunes and his colleagues to the people at Fox News knew that these allegations against the Bidens were false. There has never been any actual factual evidence, only conspiracy theories spread by people who knew exactly what they were doing. Now, Lev Parnas is a guy that if you want to believe that he's just lying, I cannot tell you that there are not good historic reasons to believe that he might be willing to lie. He also, however, has had many, many conversations with all these people. And so if Rudy Giuliani along the way had been very clear that he was doing this to find dirt on the Bidens, but he didn't actually believe that it was true, and he believed that just talking about this, even without evidence, could get a lot of what they want out of it, which is clearly their strategy, he would have been there for those conversations. So anyway, JR, well, what do you make of this? I did not expect him to pop up again.
It's wild, and there's the thing, you have to try and ask yourself, I think you were saying there at the back end. So if this isn't the case, maybe people say don't believe him, he's a disgruntled ex-employee, whatever the normal mantra is so what is it that he experienced? And if you have to guess, maybe there's tons of evidence, and Lev Parnas is now trying to flip the script and say that there was absolutely none. He went on constant fishing expeditions. He went through extensive interviews and talks and travel to find some evidence. If he's lying about the fact that there's now no evidence and everyone knew there was no evidence, where the F is the evidence? That's all, or even just some of the build up to that evidence. I mean, we still know, as Trump is saying now, it's not like he's been on trial and has been convicted of anything, but charges come up and they reveal some of the evidence. As people see that evidence, which many times Trump gave way before they even brought any charges, because he keeps talking on Truth Social about things that he did illegally. All that evidence is out there in front of many people. We don't have everything, but we have enough for people to go, something's off here. All we have in these situations is people accusing, saying this probably happened, and I have a source that I can't name yet. I have a source that just disappeared, that constantly tell me something different. Show me something. Again, I've said it so many times. Joe Biden is not my uncle. If he did some illegal stuff along with Hunter, show me. They just don't have it.
They seemingly don't have it. And they appear to not have it because it isn't there to be had. In any event, as we said in the intro, Lev Parnas sent this letter, but he is willing to do more. And if you believe that he's lying and you want a chance to question him, perhaps under oath, that's possible. He says, I am willing to testify under oath in Congress regarding any of these matters and answer any questions that you might have. Again, remember, this was to top House Republicans, or provide you with any texts or correspondence in these situations I've described in this letter. So he could still be planning to lie, but he is willing to go under oath. That means there's actual legal consequences for lying. He's willing to provide evidence. This is a major bombshell. And so you will be shocked to find out that House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, asked about this, told HuffPost, "I don't think that that's credible." I don't know that you have the best track record, James Comer, on figuring out what's credible and what's not. Your star witnesses are like on the run from the law. And you had no problem with Lev Parnas back when you thought he could help prove your conspiracies. Suddenly you're not interested. If there's any way, I don't know, before the Senate or whatever, they could have him come in and speak. I don't know what he'll say. I don't know if he's credible, but you cannot pretend to be super interested in the Burisma stuff and not be interested in what one of the chief investigators into it has to say.